So we're just about done building this thing. I'm going to probably show this portion of the video at the beginning so you kind of know what your goal is at the end, how you want it to look like. This is the power supply. It screws on out here. This is your video card. It goes into the slots that you see down here. This is your memory. RAM. It goes into those slots. It can only go one way. This thing is part of your CPU cooler. This one happens to be liquid cooled, so this is literally a radiator. There's a fan here and there's a fan right up above it you can't see. It screws in from here, from the very top. I am gonna make it so the air is drawn out because heat rises, so I want the hot air to exit the top, and you can see it's the air can escape. There's holes up here. Inside here is your DVD player or CD player. It goes in from the front. You remove one of these plastic protection pieces, I don't know what you call it, and you simply slide it in from the front and it locks in place. The connectors are in the back, which you can't see. Yeah, you have to take my word for it, they're back there. This is your hard drive. It slides in through these clips. Actually, you take out this whole tray. Take out the tray, put your hard drive in the tray, and the whole thing slides back in. Whole thing slides back in, locks into place. And the wires, the electrical parts, this is your power, and this is for the data. And this is the side of the computer nobody sees, so you tuck all your wires here and then you put on the case. These are SATA cables. They look like this is what they're plugging into. These kind of connectors over here. These are SATA connectors. Each one of these goes to your hard drive or your DVD player. And that pretty much covers it. The fans. There's a fan here. Now it depends on what kind of fan it is, whether it's a case fan or a CPU fan, but you'll have to look at your motherboard's instructions, and the instructions will tell you whether it's just a case fan connector or a CPU fan connector. If it's a case fan, it's probably just going to run at a certain speed the whole time. CPU, when it gets hotter, whereas a CPU, when it gets hotter, it'll run a little faster as opposed to when it's cooler. Well, I think we're just about done. I'm going to check everything, make sure everything is hooked up. I'm going to plug it in, and I'm going to really hope the thing works. We'll find out in a couple minutes. Hello everybody, Photojunky here. Today we are going to start building a pretty powerful computer. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to show you step by step how to do it. First, let's just go over some of the parts you're going to need. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is remove the side panel, and we're going to put it in a safe place. Now we're going to see what kind of hardware came with it. We're going to remove the box, and we're going to go over what all these wires do in a minute. They were very generous, and they gave us a lot of assorted screws. Some hold the hard drives in place, some hold the DVD player in place, and they also gave us some zip ties, which you will see later probably won't be nearly enough. Okay, inside your case you're going to see a bunch of wires. The most important ones are the power SW, that's your power switch, and the reset SW. That's what is going to plug into your motherboard, and the other end goes into the power button and the reset button. It's how you turn on your computer. You're going to see a HD audio, you're going to see a HD LED, which is just your hard drive light, so when your hard drive's thinking, it's blinking. And you have two more that didn't want to participate and aim the right way, and those are your power LED lights, so you'll know your computer's on. On your motherboard there's going to be corresponding prongs that you plug all this stuff into. This is your motherboard. This is going to sit in here. This part here is going to be sticking through here. There's a hole here. Actually, there's a couple holes here, but there's one hole here, and it is going to line up with this prong here. If you can see that. You can see that prong sticking out. Actually, that's it. Yes, that's it. Now, as you add components to this here, PCI Express, PCI slots, you're going to have to remove the corresponding piece there, so you'll be able to plug the jacks into the back here, and you just simply unscrew this and they pop out. You'll notice that your motherboard has little holes in it, and those little holes sit on top of these little prongs here, and the idea is it keeps the undercarriage of the motherboard from touching bare metal and shorting out. And this is some kind of non-conductive material there. So now I'm very gently going to put this motherboard in place and get that one prong sticking through. Alright, I got it. I'm checking the other side. Everything looks like it's lined up back here. And now I'm going to take one of the screws they gave us, and I'm going to start screwing the screws in. Sounds like a plan. Alright, all the screws are in. When you put your motherboard on, after it's seated and you put the screws on, don't put them on too tight at first, because you want your motherboard to be able to sit properly. Sometimes if it's slightly off, you'll have to loosen up all the other screws so you can get a screw in. So this one used 7 screws. One here, one here, one over here, here, and where's that other one? Here. Way down in that corner, where is that? Way down the corner here, and way in the corner here. And that's it. Now your motherboard's in. And this is what it should look like in the back. Okay, wrong, wrong. First, don't forget to put this piece in, and it goes on from the inside, not from the outside. And make sure it lines up with the motherboard. Or else, if you don't do it at first, you're going to have to take off your motherboard, just like I did. Put this little piece on, and push it from the corners, not from the middle. And then you'll have to reinstall your motherboard like I'm about to. Alright, now we're going to put the DVD drive. Focus. We're going to put the DVD drive in here. And what you have to do is remove this. So just put your hand inside and simply push it out. Latches. Yeah, maybe we'll have to put a screw in there, but it seems it's locked in place. Alright, now we're going to put in the hard drive. To do this, simply pinch these, remove it. You're going to see three pins here, and they line up with 3 pins on your hard drive that are here, and I've already done this one. And you simply slide it in place. The connections are going to be towards the other side, the back side of the computer. And that can work because they give you some, quick focus here, they give you some L-shaped SATA connections. Alright, now we're going to attach the power supply, and check this out. Look at all the cords, all the connectors it comes with. They all go in there. And we'll be putting this mess of wires down there in the case. It also came with 2 bags, which I've never seen before. Well, let's see how this goes. This goes in the back, obviously. I don't know if you can see, but there's 2 things that need to be pushed over for it to go into place. I got that side, and I just about got that side. There, now it's in place. And hopefully all the screws will line up. Now we're going to install the graphics card. It's a pretty impressive one. It goes into one of these slots here, and these slots are PCI Express. So basically, it's only going to fit one way. If it's not meant for it, it won't fit. And to get this in place, we're going to have to remove one of these slots back here so this part can come out. Whoops. right, it's in place, and what you do is you take one of those screws you removed and you bolt it in. Okay, now we're going to install the processor. The processor goes here. Very careful. You do not touch this side. There are a lot of pins. You don't want to damage the pins. You're going to see a little arrow. Now, I don't know if you can see it. It's marked right here on the motherboard. And the same arrow, or there's a corresponding arrow right here on the processor. Those two line up. See that arrow there? Okay. And there's one that looks just like it right here. So you take it very carefully, you just place it down. And when it's on correctly, like right now, it just falls into place. And there you have it. Well, we have an issue with the CPU cooler. It's a real nice one. Let me get wide angle here. It's a real nice one, but if you look out of the box, it came all scratched up. And if you look on the other side, you can see it's scratched on this side too. And there's a, let's see if we can get that. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. And there's some dents in the little cooling fins there. I don't know if that's going to be visible. So we're going to send it back, get a new cooler. We're going to clean up and stop for the day. Bye. Hello everybody, Photojunky here. Day 2, hour 2.5. Today we're going to attach some of the wires from the case to the motherboard, and they made it kind of convenient. We're going to use this little thing here. I don't know if I can focus that close. I'll put it back down. We're going to use that connector, and we're going to be able to attach all these to this, and then we're going to put it on the, where's that, JFP1. I don't know if I can get it in focus. JFP1 prong, right, where is it? Right down there. Focus. There we go. Let's get started. One thing I forgot to mention is, if you get confused, and you will, everybody does, just refer to your motherboard's manual. I know we hate instructions, but everything is there. Everything, it tells you where the prongs are, where all the connectors go, where you should attach your RAM, which slot you should use. So it's definitely worth opening up the instructions. So when you're attaching all these cables, make sure that you're lining up the negative where the negative goes and the positive where the positive goes. Otherwise you could run into some problems. Alright, now they're all attached, and we will put them on the motherboard. Now we're going to take this plug here. If you follow the wire, you'll see it goes to the front of the case. I know it's sideways. And you have your ports here. You have USB ports, microphone, headphones. Now if you look at your motherboard, it's only going to go in one way because there's a slot. And it's your JUSB1 slot. And it's that simple. Now we have to find where the HD audio plug, where it plugs into. So we're going to refer to our manual. And if you look at our manual, you will see it goes into the JAU-D1 port. So now you have to locate that. And that is right down there in the corner. Oh, focus, focus. Too close. There we go. And you plug it in down there. And there it is, plugged in. Now we're going to attach our RAM, our memory, this is it here, to the motherboard, and it goes in these slots here. Now if you refer to your motherboard's manual, it will tell you you use this side first, the DIMM 1 and 2 slots. And if you see that gold on the bottom here, one side's a little longer. It can only fit in one way, so make sure you line it up properly. And you give it a little push. Okay, I'm going to have to use two hands for this. Now when you're placing it in, you give it a push and you hear a little click. That means it's aligned in place. These little clips here will be forward. That pretty much wraps it up for today. Unfortunately, we can't do anything else until we get the CPU cooler. As I showed you, the other one was damaged and I had to send it back. So hopefully that'll come tomorrow and we'll wrap up this project. Hope it works. After these mounting brackets are tightened by hand, I'll just give them a little twist, maybe about a quarter turn, not much, just to tighten them up the rest of the way. Not even a quarter turn, eighth of a turn. This stuff here is called thermal paste, and what it does is put a little bit of paste on your CPU and you smooth it on real evenly, and it transfers the heat from your CPU to this thing here. Hold on one second. To the bottom here. This part here is going to be on the CPU. The cooler comes with its own thermal paste, but it's only a small section because they don't know the size of your CPU. Could be for another CPU, so not the complete surface is covered. So I like to remove it with rubbing alcohol, and you have to make sure everything's really clean. And then I apply the thermal paste, and I think it's a better transfer of heat. Well, let's hope that works. So I'm going to loosely tighten them, if that makes sense. That way it can seat properly. And once they're on, I'm going to tighten them in the corners diagonally. Hey, guess where these plug into? They plug in under here, under this whole fan, which means I have to take it off. Oh well. Alright, what I've done is I've cleaned up the wires a little bit. I've taken most of them, and I'm going to clean them up a little bit more, and I've put them through the other side. So a lot of the wires will be on this side, and we'll have them, the case will hold it down. We'll have to make sure nothing gets crimped. Well, now we're going to start hooking up the power cables. I've never seen anything like this from a power supply. Very generous, tons of stuff here. Kind of insane. So we're just going to go and we're going to go as needed. Again, refer to your manual, and if these cords don't fit, then it's not meant to be. If it doesn't fit, you got the wrong one.